It's Deanna from Stitches Quilting, and I am here today to talk to you about neutral quilts that we can work on that are baby quilts. And we're talking about fast, neutral baby quilts that are open to anything. And we are going to go over some half square triangles today. So let's go ahead and get started, because sometimes a lot of people, they're asking for more of a neutral nursery. Some of the young adults that are having babies right now. So I wanted to show you some fabrics that I'm going to be using for my twins grandchildren that are coming. And it's a boy and a girl. So for that case, they are gonna, hi Liz, it is so good to see you. It's so good to see you. I love being on here. But for this neutral nursery, they're having a boy and a girl as twins. And so they wanted to kind of go with a neutral palette for the baby quilts and for the baby nursery. So it's not all pink and all blue. And so I wanted to introduce to you how I'm going to do that. And we are going to do that with half square triangles. Some people do not. Hello, Linda. Hello, Delinda. It is so good to see you. So let me go ahead and show you. First of all, I'm going to show you a quilt that I have made for Ellie. So we are going to do like an ombre neutral quilt, but this is obviously very bright colors. So here we have pinks, here we have yellows, and we have over here we have, let me hold this up this way. Up in this corner, we have some aqua shades. In the center, we are having yellow shades. And down here in the corner, we are having some pink shades. So we're kind of moving at like an ombre tone here. So we're doing like an ombre neutral baby quilts. So let me set this aside. I am so excited to get this finished. I have all of my sewing machines serviced and repaired, so I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to show you the color palette that my daughter-in-law is really wanting to use in their baby nursery. So we are working with a lot of gray fabrics with a lot of different tones and textures here. So you can see these little gray prints, and I guess I could switch the camera to the above camera. So let's go ahead and do that. So you can see right here there are a whole bunch of gray fabrics, and you can see the different, yeah, Liz, I love these grays. And I've even got some different textures in here and some different grays. So gray is a great one. And then my daughter-in-law would like to also use some tans or some taupes. So right here I've got some tan fabric right here, and here are some tans. So you can see that we could go with grays and tans, or we could go with a gray and a taupe. So there are so many different options that you're working with. And then on top of that, of course, we are going to be using some white fabric to go ahead and match up and kind of mirror these together. So my daughter-in-law would like to kind of go with some taupes right here, these little taupe colors, some grays, and then we're going to add for the little baby girl quilt, down in the corner, we're going to add some little pinks in here. So you can see these really soft pinks that are going to kind of pop over in the one corner. And so these are just some really fun shades that we had that she wants to use because she likes those tones. And then, I don't know if you guys remember, what fabric do you have the most of in your stash? In my stash, the fabric that I have the most of is navy blue. So then we are going to actually use some navy blues with in the corner. So we're going to go from like a taupe to grays to the navy blues. And here's some examples of some more navy blues that I have in my stash. So you can kind of see that gradual movement that we're going to have, where it's almost like an ombre type thing. Not quite ombre, but we're going to go from grays to the taupes to the navy blue, and then with the little girl we'll go with the grays to the taupes with just that little pop of this. It's almost like a peachy pink that we're dealing with right there. So that's what we're doing, and I'm so excited to share this with you, and I'm going to show you what we are cutting with this. But before I do that, do you remember this little sketch that I've been working on? of Ashley's little surprise pregnancy. Hello, Amanda. It is so good to see you. So we were doing some modern piecing and some improv piecing with some circles and things like that. So remember, this is Ashley's belly. There was a lot of blue and then a little tiny pink of pop-up pink over here where the little girl is. So remember, I sketched that. I wanted to show you what that little quilt top looks like now. So we've got it completely sewn together. I'm not sure if you can see all of this, but you can see here is the pregnant belly. And we've got the little boy, and we're kind of doing like a color transparency of the blues changing to greens, yellows, and around. And right here, we've got the little pink girl that's kind of peeking out that we didn't know that she was pregnant with a girl. So now we're going to go ahead and I've got to quilt that and get that going. So I'm super excited. But what we're going to do is we're going to start working with some of these fabrics and with our solid white. And I'm actually using a cloud shade. So let's go ahead and move some of this stuff over to the side. I'll move my pressing mat. So let's go ahead and get to cutting some fabric so that you can see how these half square triangles can get put together, because they can sure get put together very, very quickly. So I am going to grab my cute little white that I had just a second ago. Where did I just set that? But that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and we could actually use one of these taupes right here, and we can use actually a gray. And let's see if there's something. Let's go ahead and put together, how about these two fabrics right here. So we've got a gray and a taupe that is gonna come together right here. So I am going to go ahead and cut this. I have been actually getting these in 10-inch squares or in fat quarters typically. I've been picking up different fabrics either by the yard or sometimes as fat quarters. And I'm actually going to put together some kits for you guys a little bit later that will be available if you're wanting to use any of these fabrics or tones that we've got going on here. So let's go ahead and layer up, because I'm going to cut two fabrics together, and I'm going to show you one way to sew together some half square triangles. So let's go ahead and pull this out, and I'm going to bring this down to about 10 inches right here. And I'll have the pattern for you with the exact size and dimensions. So you can see there I've got some of my yardage that's coming off of this one. And I'm going to bring this down. Let me bring it up a little bit more because I'm going to want to square this up just a bit more. And let's go ahead and get ourselves some squares. Now I'm going to want to go ahead and square up my squares, right? I've just kind of casually cut this from my yardage. So you could cut like one long strip, but we're going to have a couple different ways that we are putting these together. So let's go ahead and line these up. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this off right here. And I'm going to show you one method of pulling together half square triangles. And this is a very easy method for those of you that have sewn with me. I've introduced this to you before, but some people get kind of stuck with half square triangles. So we're going to go ahead and review that today. So I've got two fabrics right here. This is a woven fabric, so you can see that it's really the same pretty much on both sides of this fabric, just a slight difference. And on this side, this is a screen printed piece of fabric. And on the back, it is obviously has a back to the fabrics. So we're working on some neutral quilts here that we can go ahead and do. So I'm going to make sure that I do have, this almost looks like a rectangle to me. So I'm going to make sure that I do have a good square here, because we do need that. It is a nice rectangle. So we're going to go ahead and lay this down. I am going to draw a diagonal on my point here. And we can do this with a Frixion pen. We can do this with so many different options. I'm going to make sure this little sewing machine is turned on. Been trying, the sewing machine repairman did recommend that I turn off my sewing machines when I'm not using them. So to have less on time. So you can see here, I'm just kind of marking my back, my lighter back of the square right here. I'm not backing this one that is a woven print because it'll be a little bit harder to use. I just used a basic pencil, which I think will work out just fine. You can also make sure that when you're doing this, that you go ahead and maybe lightly pin in your area, pin so your squares stay really nice together. And another thing that really helps prior to pressing, prior to actually stitching, is actually pressing your squares together, because it will actually give your squares a little bit of memory as they are pressed together. So let's go ahead and just get a light press in there, and I'm going to try not to press my pin heads, but sometimes when you go ahead and you press these fabrics together, it gives it like a little bit of memory in there for your squares, and that heat kind of binds them, so that looks good. So let's go ahead and just add my other pins because I don't want to melt my pin heads, right? Which I have absolutely done before. And then we're going to just take this through the sewing machine. Now these half square triangles are so easy because what we are going to do is just sew 1/4 of an inch from this center square right here. So let's go ahead and take this over to the sewing machine. And my little guy kind of came down there, so I'm going to bring that light over. Okay, so you can go ahead and see what I'm doing over here on my sewing machine. I'm going to feed this in, and I'm using 1/4 of an inch foot. So let me go ahead and show you. This is my 1/4 of an inch quilting foot. I'm going to do this just right from the side. Mary, it really is exciting, and sweet Ashley, they're talking about maybe delivering those twins the end of July or into August, so I need to get busy on these quilts. And I've been helping to watch Ellie because Ashley is just so pregnant. Sure, her official due date is not until the end of September, but they may bring out those babies just a little bit earlier, and that happens sometimes with twin pregnancies. I keep forgetting I've got my thread cutter back. Okay, so you can see right here, I'm just using a gray thread, but you can see here is my pencil line, and I just stitched 1/4 of an inch from that pencil line. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch from this side too. And I know most of you guys have already done this, but this is such an easy way to get some half square triangles made. And I am also going to be alternating some of these as solids. So you can see right here in Ellie's quilt, some of these I did with a color and then a white print, and it's actually cloud. I put in some solid squares here. And then in some of these spots, I actually put 2 colored half square triangles. So let me see if I can find that. Gosh darn it, I'm not seeing that real fast. But I did do a couple with half square triangles just mushed together. So we're going to go ahead and pull this back. So there's so many different ways that you can do this. But we can also just use this. I'm going to pull out my pins because we've got that pretty well secured. So now let's go ahead and just take our 2 half square triangles. So remember, this is our pencil line. We did 1/4 of an inch stitching from each side. We are now going to lay these down, and I am going to trim this on the pencil line. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut this along the pencil line. I am going to get out my iron once again, and I'm going to just set these seams. So I'm going to set the seams right here, right like that, and this will be a wonderful square to go ahead and match these up. So if you've got a charm pack, like a layer cake that you've got, and then you can see, look at how pretty that little block is. So what we're going to do is we're going to vary these blocks in each of this with grays, taupes, and then the pop of navy blue is what Ashley wants. The grays, the taupe with the pop of the navy blue, the grays, the taupes with then the pop of that peachy color right here. So I think it'll be really fun as we build this out. Oh, and here are my cute little my cloud fabric. So you guys, I'm so excited about this. And I want to go ahead and share another little video that we have to do. So anything that you guys are stitching on and working on, I am just dying to know. Oh, what machine am I using? I am using my Husqvarna Viking sewing machines is what this is. So, so this is one of the Husqvarna Viking machines that I have. So you can see just how sweet that is. We can square down this block to the size that we need, but you can also use just your cloud fabric and alternate that with each one of your solid fabric. So you can see how pretty that cloud fabric is going to be with, and it's just it's a little bit of an off-white. It's not pure white. It's a little bit of a softer off-white, but you can see how pretty those are going to be with that as we kind of combine those and then switch them around, and it really will be fun. Okay, so ladies, another quick tutorial that I want to go ahead and do with you guys sometime soon, and I hope I have my little picture here handy. I'm always touching so many things. So this is the quilt that we made of kind of Ashley's little pregnant belly, where we have the fabrics that are, yes, that is a diamond sewing machine. Good job. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and be using this. So remember, we did some improv sewing here with piecing together these curved shapes. And I wanted to show you really fast that right here, I pieced together these on that little bit of a curve so you guys can remember how I did each one of these. Another part of what I need to do is to, and I will show you how I will do this, but I will use some freezer paper and take her little fingers that are on her belly, holding her belly right here, and she's measuring the same size, poor Ashley, as when she delivered Ellie went full term. So we're gonna go ahead and add these little fingers to this improv circle piecing. So if you want to see more tutorials on this, I did some videos on this technique right here. So anyways, but we're going to get to the applique. So I know a lot of you guys are interested in applique, and I will show you how I'm going to applique those little fingers right on there. So anyways, all right, you guys, it is so good to see you. I am going to be busy making some twin baby quilts. I will also take you through the journey of how to domestic machine quilt those on your domestic machine, because we're not dealing with a very big quilt, and we'll do some fun techniques with that and take you through those tips and tricks. So let me know what you are actually sewing on, what you're working on, what is distracting you during the summer. I know this summer it's nice to have warm weather and to be out and about and to be enjoying the world out there. So let me know about what you guys have been working on. You guys have a great day and enjoy yourselves, and I will be back next Monday with another live, and I will show you where I will be with these little twin baby quilts in neutral, kind of in an ombre tone. So we'll see you guys a little bit later. Have a great one. Can't wait to see what you